the people that we grew up watching and enjoying, is they're getting up there. DDP a couple of weeks ago, Hulk Hogan just a little more than a month ago. We're starting to lose our childhood heroes, and it all it does is just make you feel old, and it's sad to see it.
YouTube just went live.
Facebook and YouTube.
But it's freaking crazy, like watching like your childhood heroes get old and the medical issues start and all that kind of stuff. And then you knew like Hulk Hogan was like going through it, but not like to the extent that he was.
Yeah, we didn't know just how bad it was that he was dealing with. But definitely want to send out plenty of well wishes to the King, and hope he makes it back on the road to recovery pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. Stephanie McCourt did an interview, and there was all these rumors that she was injured or something was going on because Raw, there was supposed to be some kind of contract signing between her and Io Sky for WrestlePalooza. Mm-hmm. And Adam Pearce was like, "Oh, we're just not doing the contract, but you still have your match."
Yeah.
Which was kind of weird in general.
Yeah.
But Stephanie's like, "Oh, I'm not injured. It was just a creative thing. They decided to change at the last minute."
Well, it just goes back to, we were talking about it with the Naomi thing, with Naomi announcing that she's pregnant. Oh, tune into Stephanie McMahon's podcast and to find out more about what's going on with why Naomi isn't wrestling this week or why this match isn't happening.
And then they didn't even talk about it.
And then they didn't even do it. And then we pushed it another week to Raw. It just seems like there's something there, and there's a break in creative where they're changing things that leads me to believe, and I'm not knocking the creative or anything like that, because I know somebody in the wrestling media, bro, is taking to shitting on the creative and saying that they're just stockpiling pops. They're not really telling stories or anything like that.
It's really hard for creative to figure it out.
Yeah, bro. It's hard to figure out how to tell a comprehensive story. And I think stuff like this, we're starting to see it. We are starting to see there are, things are getting a little stagnant and creative and stuff like that. Hopefully it's something that we can get ironed out, because it's just weird how Stephanie wins the Battle Royal at Evolution. Oh, she's supposed to get a title shot at Clash in Paris. And then obviously Naomi announces that she's pregnant. Rather than waste 2 weeks of creative, we could have, hey, Naomi's off the board because she's pregnant. Congratulations. But we still have a title match that we have to put on at Clash in Paris that we've built for the last few weeks. It seems like we're putting the brakes to this, and it's stalling the whole women's division on Raw. Because SmackDown's women's division isn't having this issue.
No.
Like they ran in, it happens with stuff like this, where injuries, or in this circumstance, not an injury, but a talent is we're no longer able to put them in the position that we had intended for them. So we have to scramble to fix it. But it seems like they're just bogging down the side of Raw with stuff like this.
It makes no sense. But also what they're doing on SmackDown makes no sense, because I don't want to see Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax for the 10th time.
And it looks like
I don't want to see Julia versus Michin again.
And that's what looks like is going to happen based off of SmackDown last night.
To have all these people.
Like, you had Jade Cargill versus Tiffany, and it wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a great match, but it wasn't a bad match by any means.
I thought Stratton fucked herself up.
Yeah, it looked, there was a moment where it looked like Tiff was in trouble. And hopefully it's not something that she just gutted through. Hopefully it just looked bad. It looked worse than it actually was. But it's getting stagnant in the women's division. And I don't think we can continue to ignore it. We can give Triple H all the credit that he deserves, respectfully, but the wrestling on the women's division side, we called it out. Lyra versus Becky happened a dozen fucking times. Fortunately, we got AJ Lee that we can now put in the mix with Becky to at least break that up. But it looks like there's still more stuff with Bayley and Lyra that we could have interwoven into the Becky story.
True.
It seems weird. There's something there that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of. Seems like the women's revolution is kind of dying out.
Not that it's dying out. It's just like it's slowed. It doesn't feel like it's
Yeah.
got the same juice behind it that it did. But it's not dying out by any means. We're still getting quality women's wrestling. I hope, going back to Saudi Arabia, I hope that Saudi Arabia acknowledges that our laws are a little different than everywhere else when it comes to the presentation of women in public. But what we're going to do is we're going to allow them to come out in flashy gear and do their thing. Like, give it the real WrestleMania presentation rather than
I didn't even
has
think about
to
that.
abide by our standards.
You know, have all these big WrestleMania matches, and these girls got to wear like coveralls.
Yeah, it got to be completely covered up, which you would have to think is probably in some ways restricting in their movement, which could potentially lead to injury or mistakes. And then it's viewed as, oh, look, they're not as this or they're not as that. And it just, that part, I hope there are some relaxed regulations with WrestleMania.
AJ and CM Punk versus Seth and Becky was made official for WrestlePalooza.
Yeah. I mean,
AJ had her first like promo on Raw in 10 years.
Yep.
I was listening to Busted Open, and they were like praising the hell out of her promo, just being like, everybody that didn't know who she is know who she is now, and she hasn't missed a beat. To me, that shit sounded like she missed.
I disagree.
Sound like she's been gone for 10 years.
Yeah, it does. It sounded like I've been gone for 10 years, and this is why. This is the struggle that I went through. And good on her for bringing mental health to light. In no way am I going to knock that portion, but that promo did not present to the new audience that is watching, that wasn't watching 10 years ago. That did not introduce them to AJ, the legend of AJ Lee.
I like her one line of "I'm your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler."
Yeah, it was a good line. I don't think the promo was super strong. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like there are worse promos in pro wrestling that we saw this week. It wasn't a bad promo. Bingo. But it wasn't this promo that introduced who she was and why she's so highly regarded. It did not do that. I respectfully disagree, and people are going to say, well, Bully's done this and Tommy's done this. And I respect Bully and Tommy, but I disagree. As a fan, viewing it as a fan, if I hadn't watched AJ Lee 10 years ago, this promo would not tell me who she was then and why it's such a big deal.
That promo just told me a mentally ill person's back.
If you need help,
and all the newer and all the newer wrestlers like me.
And they probably are a little mental themselves. I don't know.
Only in a wrestling freaking arena will there be a therapy chain.
Yeah. Wrestling
that part
fans,
made me laugh, and I was like, really?
There's a lot of wrestling fans that probably need therapy, and we hope that they're getting it.
If you're in Las Vegas and you want to meet the Bella Twins, there's going to be a bunch of opportunities next week.
Yeah. Pretty much Friday, they're going to be all over the strip. They're going to be at Old Reds down on the strip. They're doing a Lee's discount liquor signing, and then they're doing an appearance at the Palms at the Ghost Bar. Yeah. So they're going to be all over the strip. If you want to meet them, next Friday's the time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It should be a pretty cool thing now that Nikki Bella's back.
Yep. Yay, Nikki Bella's back.
What'd you think of AJ Styles' promo on Raw that he actually mentioned like Gallows and Anderson? And
I'm confused by it. Like, what are they trying to do? Like, with rumors that his contract is up after the Rumble, what are they trying to do?
I don't know.
I don't get it. Again, the optimist in me, the person that doesn't want to slam and negatively knock wrestling, I don't want this to be a situation because a couple of months ago, Karrion Kross had one of those unaired in the U.S. promos that was really good. We thought it was going somewhere, and it didn't.
Went towards the exit.
Yeah. I hope that's not the case with AJ. I don't know what to make of it. Like, are we now going to position him versus the Authority? And if the Authority, is it against Triple H? Are we going to start seeing him just, here's Brock Lesnar, I'm going to have Brock destroy AJ on this show, or here's this person, and I'm going to have him beat AJ. Are we going to get that same thing through February that we got with Karrion Kross through SummerSlam?
The optimist in me, when he said he was alone, the first thought in my head was Bullet Club and WWE.
Yeah, would be cool. You got Finn Balor, you got Tama Tonga.
Yeah, you got a bunch of them.
You can definitely get a few. You can get a few together.
And hire Gallows and Anderson back, please.
I don't think Gallows and Anderson are going back with some of the stuff Anderson said. Not to say that it can't happen.
Heard worse.
Yeah. I mean, Cody Rhodes with the Throne Breaker and stuff like that. We've heard and seen worse, and they came back.
Bruno Sammartino, Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, never say never, I guess, right?
It's been like 30 years just bashing WWE.
The doofus son-in-law. Pipe bomb.
I really thought I swear on everything, I never thought CM Punk would come back. Ever.
Well, and not to jump ahead, but I know you have it on the run sheet. Earlier this week, Brian said without AEW, Cody Rhodes wouldn't be the megastar that he is in WWE. CM Punk may never have come back to pro wrestling if it weren't for AEW. Number one, I do agree with Brian's assessment that AEW taking off and Cody as the figurehead of AEW while he was there absolutely helped his positioning in WWE. And
I put his stature like way up there.
It absolutely did. The stuff that he was doing in New Japan and on the independent scene going around, he was creating business for a lot of companies. He could have come back and still been a star.
Yeah.
Just like Matt Cardona could today. But being the figurehead of AEW that he helped launch an entire company, that carried massive weight.
Oh, yeah.
In the eyes of Vince McMahon and Triple H and Bruce Pritchard to bring Cody back. It 100% does. I fully agree that that absolutely does, that it carries massive weight.
Yeah, they built a company that was like direct competition with WWE.
For a while, it certainly was. Is it now? They're still fighting for the same market. They're still fighting for advertising dollars. They're still competing to sign talent. Oh. So they are still in competition. And that's one of the things that I hate about the wrestling, the internet wrestling community. They're not competition. Well, not direct competition. I would agree with that. But they're still operating and still competing for the same market dollars.
They're in the same circle. Like WWE's been doing it for so long, and they're just like this well-oiled machine that WWE's here, AEW's still down here.
Yep, I agree.
Whether you want to admit it or not, it's true.
Exactly. People shit on they come at me all the time. You're the AEW shill of the show, and I do support AEW.
I support AEW too.
And I will
I'll call them out on their bullshit.
Exactly. And I will say they are not direct. They're not going to put WWE out of business. AEW's existence is not a threat to WWE's Netflix deal. It's not a threat to the ESPN deal. It's not a threat to any of these other deals.
They're an inconvenience to WWE.
And that is why WWE is counter-programming them. Not because they're gonna that AEW's business is going to affect WWE's business. It's that we don't get the talent that we want. We don't get all the available advertising dollars. And we're not the only ones that when people say pro wrestling, this is who they're talking about. That's why they're counter-programming AEW. And what is being done with all the counter-programming, and we have jumped way the fuck off topic here in our last few minutes here. But all of this counter-programming is done for that exact reason. Like we can admit, if you look at it, not with rose-tinted glasses, but look at the situation as it is. This is why the counter-programming is being done. WWE and TKO want to be the only name in pro wrestling. TNA views AEW as competition now and has pulled all of their talent from shows that AEW talent also appear on, like Maple Leaf Pro with Scott D'Amore, which I think may just further tighten Scott D'Amore and Tony Khan. But it's what TKO or what WWE is doing is the same thing that UFC has done for decades in running out the people that are also in your shared space.
UFC is like such a big name in like that industry that if you talk about the sport of MMA, you just say UFC.
Yeah.
People think the actual sport of mixed martial arts is called UFC.
Yep. But that's because they counter-programmed Invicta. They counter-programmed WEC. They counter-programmed Pride. They counter-programmed Bellator.
Yeah.
Until they ran them out of business.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that is being done to AEW right now. And this isn't a poor AEW. This isn't me saying poor AEW. This is me explaining why this is being done. And this is me pointing out it's worked here. TKO is banking on it working here.
Do you think it'll actually help AEW that WWE is like outpricing like all this stuff, but AEW is kind of keeping their prices
if they do it right,
normal?
If they do it right, like if Tony Khan sees what Mark Shapiro said earlier this week and says, "This is how we grow. We're going to keep our tickets middle to lower end pricing. We're going to run these more intimate venues where people are closer to the action than ever." If you're going to do that, you also have to tone down your content. You can't have John Moxley taking a spiked baseball bat to the back.
Yeah.
You can't do a lot of that stuff that is geared more towards the hardcore, the more, hardline, diehard pro wrestling fans. You can't do that.
Mm-mm.
But it's an opportunity that I hope Tony Khan looks at long and hard and considers. I can either continue to do what I'm doing and not present a family-friendly product, and I can continue to just do what I'm doing, or I can tone this down a little bit on television, and he'll have to do it at pay-per-views too. I can tone this down just a little bit, keep my ticket prices here, and all those people that would like to go to pro wrestling and see but can't afford to go to WWE, they can now come to me.
Yep.
This is an opportunity for Tony Khan that I hope he looks and thinks long and hard on.
I hope so.
Because it's an opportunity to regain some of that ground that you had 4 years ago. It's an opportunity to bring in new viewers that did not watch you before and now want to give a new alternative to WWE a shot because they feel priced and they feel ostracized from the WWE viewing audience because they can't afford it.
Like, I think like the last time Double or Nothing was here, I think front row was like maybe 300-400.
Chris and I were in the fourth row, and I think we spent $150.
That's not bad at all.
That wasn't bad at all. We were right behind the section that got the take-home chairs, which
nice.
I wouldn't have wanted the take-home chair because it was Mercedes Moné on there.
Oh, hell no.
I would have sold the fucking thing to somebody for $50 after the show anyways. But this is an opportunity for Tony Khan to do something different.
I think if you were to go to AEW with like $6,000, you'd be in a match with Will Ospreay on Dynamite.
Not that close. Not that close. Not even on pay-per-view.
But it's been a crazy week.
It has.
It was fun. Made some connections.
Yeah, we have.
Saw some cool wrestling. Hopefully we have some cool news by next week.
Yep.
We're working on it.
Certainly are.
Everybody have a fun, safe week. Stay hydrated. Don't do anything dumb.
Just be good people. We've had a shitty week of people being complete wretches on society. Be different. Be good to one another.